Am I the a-hole for telling my dad that my stepmom deserves every penny she has gotten? So my 27 male, stepmom 53 female has been in my life since I was 1 year old. My mom dropped out of my life when I was 3 months old and I've never met her. My dad 51 male started a business when I was 10 and my half-siblings were 5 and 8. My stepmom would take care of us when we got home from school and then work 6 to 8 hours a day for my dad's business. I would remember her going out to distribute marketing materials, driving out with him to trade shows, do his accounting into the early hours of the morning, and filling in the blanks for employees who either quit or were absent in some way. Basically, she worked close to full-time, and she would only take $1 a year because she wanted my dad to put her would-be salary back into the business. When his business started turning a large profit around when I was 16, she worked more part-time, but still never took a salary. But I feel like what she added emotionally to my siblings and I was worth more than she could have been paid in a full-time, skilled job because my dad was distant and a difficult person. However, 2 years ago, they suddenly split up. My dad moved out, and by then, my stepmom still worked part-time for free, but was mostly staying at home. But my dad, we all thought, was also close to being semi-retired. At the end of their divorce, my stepmom got 50% of my dad's business. My dad is absolutely furious. He called the system unfair, said that this was a tax on his hard work that deters further innovation from him, and that my stepmom didn't build his business. She merely stepped back and allowed him to do so. Every time he comes over to my house or comes to events for any of his 3 kids, he's angry. His greatest hits of complaints include, "Your stepmom took herself out of the workforce and that's her fault. What has she ever done to get free money?" The final straw was when yesterday he complains that his girlfriend, 25 female, yells at him every day over the fact that my stepmom is basically a business partner now, and that if I was able to work 70 hours a week 16 years ago, she should be able to do the same at Walmart for the next 20 years. I finally snapped and said that until he can bite his tongue about my stepmom, I didn't want him coming over anymore. I also told him that in my opinion, my stepmom deserves every penny she's getting. And if I were the judge, I would have given her all that and more. Am I the a-hole for being fed up? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole at all. I'm glad you stood up for your stepmom and that she's a big part of your life. Agreed. Opie's father sounds like the guys who hate taxes because he built everything himself. As if the roads, public schools, libraries, and other public services didn't help turn him and his employees to the people they are today. Yep. He sounds like a classic narcissist. I've noticed in my life that they tend to be classist as well. It's sad that people act like that. And he's got a midlife crisis. Sorry, girlfriend 25. Egging him on, knowing nothing about what he actually experienced objectively. Not a-hole. This lady not only looked after his children as a mother, but also worked at the company for essentially free? This is one of those times I'm glad courts weighed so heavily in her favor against the entitled arrogance of your father. Kudos for having a spine and sticking up for her. They didn't even weigh heavily in my opinion. You pay someone $1 a year for full-time work for over a decade. To me, that's half your business worthy. You have your spouse not only work, but also take care of your previous and current kids. Again, half your business. You do all that and spout BS? Solidifies it to me. Screw that guy. Don't forget that he then dumps his wife, expecting her to get nothing, and then turns around and gets a gold digging. She's complaining that his ex owns half the company. She's a gold digger, girlfriend that's younger than his own son. Not a-hole. Your entire post was explained right here. His girlfriend, 25 female. He built up the business to get himself a trophy wife. And now he's mad that he couldn't just leave the stepmom high and dry. Real class act. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not caring about my dad's cancer diagnosis? For context, I, 30 female, am a product of my dad's infidelity. He lied to my mom about being single. They dated, he got my mom pregnant, she was given a heads up about my dad's shadiness by one of her co-workers. My mom confronted him, and that was that. My mom took out a restraining order against my dad before I turned 1 because of his constant threatening to take me away, so I never met him, and I've never been interested in doing so. Jump forward to 2018, and my mom told me she'd found my dad on Facebook and that they'd started messaging each other. She said he was looking forward to meeting me and that she'd set up a date for us to have dinner without asking if I was even interested in meeting him. I didn't feel comfortable being alone with my dad, but to avoid any drama with my mom, who lives with me, I caved and had dinner with him. It went well at first, but then he started bragging about all his money and his perfect daughters. It made me shut down and feel awful about myself. After dinner, he complained to my mom that I was unresponsive and didn't seem excited to meet him. Knowing my mom and her tendency to side with everyone else but her kids, I was given the silent treatment until I apologized. Apparently, I ruined his dream of meeting me by not welcoming him into my life with open arms. It's now 2021, and in the short time we've known each other, my dad has managed to make me feel horrible many times. The last straw was when he tried to guilt me for not contacting him every day when I explained that I sometimes go through low periods where I retreat and have very little contact with anyone. I know there's a name for it, but I've never been properly diagnosed because I was ridiculed at a young age by my mom for feeling depressed when I had no real problems. My dad refused to understand that it's for the sake of my mental health and said I just don't want to build a relationship with him. I got contact with him after that because I don't feel like I owe him anything, and I was tired of all his snide remarks about me. I was fine before we met, and I certainly didn't need one more person in my life to please. I was done. A few days ago, my mom came to me crying about how my dad had just been diagnosed with cancer. Obviously, I feel bad for him because no one deserves that disease. But my mom now thinks I'm a monster for not crumbling to my knees in sorrow at the thought of possibly losing my dad. She's grown very close to him again over the past couple years, so she thinks he's this great person that was only trying to get close to his long-lost daughter, but she doesn't know how manipulative he was trying to be with me. My mom isn't speaking to me anymore and probably won't until I contact my dad. I don't want to invite him back in though. I'm sorry he's going through this difficult time, but that's about it. Am I an a-hole for not caring the way I'm supposed to? Not an a-hole, and it sounds like it's time to cut contact with both parents. Find your own family that actually cares about what you want. Edit. This really was just a surface level thought. I don't know why I'm getting awards, but thank you so much. Because this is getting so much attention. I'll just quickly add that I don't say cut contact lightly. Boundaries need to be set and discussions need to be had. Communication is important, but the mother sounds pretty manipulative, and a little space never hurts anyone, and OP should absolutely surround herself with people who love her and care about her. Mother will come crawling back if father dies. Be prepared and have a plan, OP. I feel like she'll try to dump all her grief on you. Yeah, it sounds like mom has some fantasy that the sperm donor and her will get back together, / be a happy family and live happily ever after because he's rich. There's a part of me wondering whether she needs Opie to suck up to father because inheritance, but that's a little far-fetched, I think. Not a-hole, but hun, your dad isn't the only manipulator in this scenario. Your mom is too. Best go low contact to no contact with them for a while. Not a-hole. Does your mother live with you or do you live with her? Might be time to move. No one deserves the treatment you receive not only from him but her as well. I am so sorry and hope you are eventually able to heal. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my wife I won't attend my stepson's wedding if it's on the same day as my daughter's graduation? I'm male 43 is dad of 2, Tracy by 22 and Sean step 24. Tracy's mom is deceased. I'm the only family left for her since she doesn't have any close relatives. They all live away and are always in and out of touch with us. Sean and I are on great terms. I met his mom when he was 17. Now he's about to get married, although his fiancée seems a bit controlling and overall rude. Tracy is about to finish her last year in college. Her graduation is in May. She's given me a specific date and wanted me and her stepmom to be there to share her happiness. Sean and his fiancée have been busy planning their wedding. He visited us yesterday to tell us about it. He said he, his fiancée, and her mom agreed on the wedding to be on X day this May. I was taken aback. I told Sean to repeat the date, and it turned out it's the same day as Tracy's graduation day. The same day. I just paused for a minute. My wife didn't notice, so I reminded them both that Tracy's graduation is on X day this May. Sean looked at me and said he already knows, but his fiancée and her mom wanted a specific venue, and it's only available on that day of the month. The argument started. I asked him how exactly was he expecting me to attend when I'm already invited to Tracy's graduation. My wife said we could attend a graduation and a wedding the same day. But I called her illogical since I'll have to drive 4 hours to attend a graduation. Tracy lives in the city. I asked Sean if he could postpone since he wants me there so desperately. He threw a fit saying he can't, and this will cause an issue with his mother-in-law. He suggested that I postpone my daughter's graduation party. What the hell? I can't do that. It's totally out of my hand. Sean never went to college, his choice, but he should know graduations cannot be postponed. He and my wife stared at me after I said that he needed to think of another date for his wedding. Otherwise, I won't attend because I want to see my daughter graduate college. It's a big deal. My wife took it as in Tracy was more important to me, but I pointed out that Tracy didn't pick the dates, nor can she control it. But Sean can control when to have his wedding. She lashed out, saying there's blatant favoritism on display here, and I shouldn't try to downplay the importance of Sean getting married since it's a once-in-a-lifetime event as well. I got so mad at her for indirectly asking me Miss Tracy's graduation to show up and support Sean on his big day. Sean was angry and left the house later. My wife kept arguing with me about what I told Sean, and that I hurt his feelings, and made it clear who's the golden child is. I told her it wasn't my fault, and I'm literally stuck in this situation. Yet, she still claims I mishandled the entire situation. Till this very moment, I have no idea what kind of response she and Sean wanted to hear from me. They said it's my fault when his mother-in-law is the one running the show. Was I wrong for what I said? Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. Your daughter's graduation date is not under your family's control, but the wedding date is. Your wife and your stepson are being a-holes. They can find another venue or wait a little longer until the venue is free again. Hold a line here. Your daughter will only graduate once too. Don't let her become the victim of them being inconsiderate. Came to agree, not a-hole. She will only graduate once. Based on stepson's and stepson's fiancé's attitudes, they'll probably have to remarry at some point down the road anyway. Lol. Agreed. Tell your wife to explain to your daughter how she can't come to her graduation because her son decided to not have a backbone and chose to get married on the same day. Not a-hole. WTF? Your wife is clearly the one showing favoritism. You kindly reminded them both of an important event involving your other child that can't be changed, and your son even said he knew it was the same day. They can't expect you to go to his wedding over her graduation. Not a-hole. Also, even though the choice here is clear because a wedding date can be changed, but a graduation date cannot, is Opie really being criticized for showing favoritism to his daughter over his stepson who only entered his life at 17? Let's say the choice was between attending the stepson's graduation or the graduation of his child whom he's known her whole life. Let's say both dates couldn't be changed. Yeah, I'd choose the child I raised over the child I met at 17 if it came down to it. Not a-hole. You need to put your foot down and refuse to engage further. I am attending my daughter's graduation. I made a commitment before your stepson chose his wedding date. This isn't up for discussion. Let your wife do what she wants to do, but you made a commitment to your daughter, and you can't reschedule her graduation. Your wife and stepson are selfish a-holes. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for leaving after finding out that my husband let his brother and his family take our bedroom? I, female 23, have been wheelchair bound for over a year. My life changed ever since I started using the wheelchair. I used to feel useless, but my husband supports me all the time. I recently went back to college, studying online, after stopping for an entire year. We used to live in an apartment. My husband managed, with the help of his family, to buy a small house. We have 2 bedrooms in total, one downstairs and the other is upstairs. Our bedroom is downstairs so I could move freely in my wheelchair. The bathroom and the kitchen are accessible as well. The problem is that my brother-in-law's house had an accidental fire and it's burned down. He and his family have been staying with family members, but not for long since they all live in apartments and my brother-in-law has 3 kids. My husband said brother-in-law and his family were coming to stay with us for a month since it was our turn to take them in. They arrived and my brother-in-law and wife were acting strange for a few days. Their kids would go into our bedroom and stay there. My husband told me brother-in-law and his wife said the upstairs room is too small for them and their kids, and asked if they could switch rooms since our bedroom is bigger. I was shocked. I told him I need a space for mobility, and I can't climb the stairs to reach the other room. It's not logical. My husband said it didn't feel fair that 5 members were stuck in a tiny room while it's just the 2 of us in a big room. We argued, then we stopped. Yesterday, my sister dropped me off after visiting my parents, and when I entered our house, I was stunned to see our stuff was moved out the room and was being moved upstairs. I asked my husband. He looked apologetic, saying he couldn't stand to see his brother and the kids uncomfortable, so I let them take our bedroom. He reassured me he'd take care of getting me up and downstairs and said the staircase is short so it won't be hard. I yelled at him after that and called him unbelievable. He lashed back and reminded me that his family helped us buy this house, and his mother called to shame him for the kids suffering in a small room. He went on about his brother struggling and asked me to put myself in his place and imagine if our house burned. Would I still complain about the upstairs room? I was so mad at him. My brother-in-law's wife tried to talk to me, basically justifying why she and brother-in-law pressured my husband to give them the room and called my sister to take me to my parents' house. My husband talked to Mom, and he was upset that she said it was wrong to do this to me. He said I should have talked to him instead of talking to my mom. Not Dayhall at all. There is a huge difference between want and need, and the two are being conflated here. Your in-laws want more space. You need to be able to get around the house. Your husband's solution is not a solution. It's a situation that causes you to become completely dependent on him to get around the house, and that's unacceptable. Your husband was also wrong, and quite honestly, dishonest in the way that he framed the fallout. He said you should have talked to him. You didn't talk to him, he just completely ignored you and decided to do what he wanted. You were clear that this wasn't an option, and he was clear in the fact that he didn't care. Why aren't your in-laws being asked to put themselves in your shoes? Husband, I can't stand to see my brother's family so uncomfortable. Also husband, but I don't give a damn if you're uncomfortable, babe. Laughing my butt off. Suck it up. Planning on carrying another adult up the stairs multiple times a day is a great way for him to end up with a debilitating injury. It sounds like this whole family campaigned to screw over OP. The brother, wife, and mom all have no problem needling at husband until he caves. What kind of dynamic is this family working with? Edit. Also, what the hell is up with husband for being ticked that OP talked to her mom, when apparently his entire family gets way in? I would stay and make up every excuse to go up and down stairs. I'm not comfortable in this shirt, I need to go upstairs and get something else. I forgot my whatever upstairs. I'm tired, I'm going to lay down for 10 minutes. Babe, laying down isn't really helping. I'm going to need to sit on the couch instead. I just got up here, but now I need to use the bathroom all the way downstairs. What's the problem, honey? This is what you wanted. Not Dayhall. I'd be raising hell on earth. And what's he talking about? You did talk to him, but it went in one ear and out the other. He's showing you that he's going to prioritize his family over you, OP, and it is not okay. Do not go back there until him and his dumb family have a genuine apology, and when you get your room back. Seriously, what were these people all thinking? I don't know, but there's something wrong with them. Normal people don't treat people in wheelchairs like this. There's an empathy chip missing.